You're watching Channel 22, Lawndale's community cable television for the South Bay.
All right, fans, we're here live at Beverly Hills High School, home of the Normans. We've just tipped off Leuzinger with possession. Scoreless contest so far. We'll set the table for you in just a moment. There we see our first turnover of the game, Dave. Leuzinger coming in with a pretty good record, 5-3 overall, 12-7 overall, 5-3 in Ocean League competition.
Well, Rufus, they're not too happy with their last performance. Basically, they've been up and down. They had an impressive win on the road last week against El Segundo, where they feel they played their best ball of the year, but then they came home to play what Coach Travis Showalter called a flat game, where they lost to Miracosta in a disappointment. So they want to get back on the win track, and they're going to have to do it against a team that, well, has nothing to lose but everything to win, because Beverly Hills has yet to win a game in the league this year.
Shot put up from the sideline by number 32, Joe Shepard. That shot no good, taken down by the Normans. Starting lineup for the Normans consists of number 21, Max Shapiro. Billy Smith wears jersey 11. There you see a turnover by the Normans. Leuzinger looking to run again. One of the starters not in the lineup for the Olympians right now, Dave, is Chaz Foster.
Well, Chaz Foster, double letterman, plays on the football team in the fall, the basketball team in the winter and spring. He, according to Coach, a little bit of a discipline problem. He didn't want to elaborate on what the discipline problem was, but he will not play the first quarter. He may get in the second quarter because Leuzinger, the Olympians, are somewhat undermanned here tonight as they've got a couple of players under the strep throat bug. So they're going to start needing Chaz Foster in his height as this ball game wears on.
That's Brandon Connor with the handle, gets it over to Joe Shepard. Connor back with it. Connor wearing jersey number 4, one of your starters, along with Tyrone Reed in jersey 5. Ortega at the guard, wears jersey number 3, and Ortega puts up the three-pointer, which is good. The rest of the lineup consists of Joe Shepard, as we mentioned, along with 31, Maurice Givens. That shot from the perimeter by number 21, Shapiro, no good. And now we're going to have a whistle.
Yeah, it looked like they'll spot Billy Smith, the senior, for reaching in there. The Beverly Hills Normans 4-12 overall, 0-8 in the Ocean League, as you see Travis Showalter in the shadow of this somewhat antiquated athletic facility here in Beverly Hills. But even though they are 0-8, they feel that their strength offensively is as a perimeter shooting team. They're not going to beat you much on the boards, although they did block a shot early in the game. And you see they get up good there.
Put up and in. And excuse me, I'm sorry, Dave. And you're exactly right. Another thing to mention about the Beverly Hills team, though, and this is a program that has had its ups and downs over the years, this being one of their down years. Not a particularly good shot put up that time by number 22, Oscar Oviasoji. Couple of guys seeing action tonight for the Olympians, as you mentioned, with the guys out, and there you're going to have a foul called on the play. Basket's going to be good. It's going to send the Normans to the line. Is that you've got a couple players out with for medical reasons, and it's a good thing that they aren't here. No need for the whole team to get infected. So in fact, they called the basket no good. The early score is 5-0 in favor of the Olympians. That shot put up and no good. Norman's getting the offensive rebounds. Perimeter shot put up there, no good. These guys, for this to be their home basket, they're having a lot of trouble getting one to go down for them here in the early going as they trail by a score of 5-0 with 4:30 left here in the first quarter, Dave.
Yes, and they and their coach, Jason Newman, have to feel that if they're going to stay close to Leuzinger and be competitive, the first quarter is important.
And that shot put up and in by Joe Shepard. Extends the Leuzinger lead now to 8. They're pitching a shutout here in the first quarter.
2 3-pointers. Oscar Ortega with the tray and Joe Shepard with the tray. Joe Shepard, the junior.
Non-shooting foul there as we've got a substitute coming on to the floor for the Olympians. Number 25, Brandon Dixon, comes on. and he comes on for number 5, Tyrone Reed.
Brandon Nixon was in another one of those discipline problems, but he is off the bench at the 4-minute mark exactly of the first quarter.
You know, for all the great things that one thinks and says about Beverly Hills and life in Beverly Hills, I got to tell you that this gym facility is one of the most antiquated that I've ever been in, and quite frankly, I'm certain that it's not a particular favorite of the players because there's absolutely no baseline. You know, and players are accustomed to having that room to work with behind the basket, a good 8 to 10 feet. Where, man, when you step off the baseline here, you're in the stands.
Well, as that last foul was committed that time by Dan Goldstein, it reminds me of a story. I had the pleasure, check that it wasn't Dan Goldstein, it was Max Shapiro who committed the foul, and of course sends Leuzinger to the free throw line. I had the pleasure of interviewing Tommy Smith, who of course was the gold medalist at the 1968 Olympics, and famous, of course, for the salute, the Black Power salute in 1968, which became very controversial. And he told me the reason why he got into track, he liked playing basketball, but at the college he went to, and the college he went to upstate eludes me. It might have been San Jose State. He said it was a similar situation to this where the wall was right next to the basket, and he said he was not going to survive a season because he was running full steam trying to make those layups, and he wasn't going to make it. So one of the reasons why he decided to go to the track team.
Ortega with the ball, passes it out on the perimeter. Connor shot up, gets the shooter's bounce as it drops. Leuzinger's lead now extended to 12 to 2 here in the early going. And even for this to be a home game, Beverly Hills playing much like excellent defensive play there by number 24 for the Normans. Don't have it, yeah we do, Roger Smith in our program with the strip of a short basket there for the Olympians. So, with 3:06 left in the first quarter, the Normans decide to take a timeout on Lawndale's community cable, channel 22, as they trail by a score of 12 to 2.
Yeah, Jason Newman, you saw in the middle of that picture, the Beverly Hills coach, and of course his counterpart tonight, Travis Showalter, first year with the Leuzinger Olympians. He, of course, went to El Segundo High School. And he had coached upstate after going to college upstate, coached a few years up there, and was told by the famous El Segundo coach to come on down, and there was a job opening available, of course, when Coach Wright didn't make it through last season. The opening was here, and that is how he got the job for the first year at Leuzinger, as they play here tonight on the road in Beverly Hills.
And Leuzinger showing more familiarity with the court of the Normans than the Normans are as they lead by a score of 12 to 2. A lot of inside play going on. Normans come away with a fast break opportunity. They push it up. Ortega, last line of defense, breaks it up. And Leuzinger, and it's going to be called Leuzinger basketball. Our officials for tonight's contest. Bob Loden is the referee. Working with Bob tonight is Dave Udis. Loden, a veteran referee here in CIF Southern Section. They've had the pleasure of calling several games that he's worked, and he's a fine referee. Leuzinger slows it down just a bit. Again, Ortega being the ref. That shot put up from the perimeter. No good. Taken down by Brandon Connor. Swings it back out to Ortega. Shot from the outside, no good. Normans come down with it. That shot taken outside by Brandon Dixon.
Yeah, the Normans said they're going to play a little zone that time, and their coach, Jason Newman, says that they have two zones that they like to go to, but they switch a lot because they want to make the other team guess, and they don't want the other team to realize that they have someone 5'9" playing center.
Good strip there. Ortega for the fast break. Tries to reverse, doesn't get it, but follow up by Brandon Connor is good. And now Leuzinger leads by a score of 14 to 2. Turnover, Normans, as the ball is thrown away by the guard, senior guard, Billy Smith.
Well, as you see, Jason Newman, you have to kind of sympathize with his play here. He coaches also the golf team, and during the week, he had two players go down and practice to injury. He's had a couple of other players who had problems, and he's got players that play other sports trying out for the basketball team.
And at the 1:30 mark, the Normans break the ice a second time as they put their third and fourth points on the board. They trail now by 10 at 14-4. Their largest deficit, obviously, thus far has been 12 at 14-2.
The man who scored that last bucket, Billy Smith, he is a volleyball player.
That shot put up and in by Brandon Dixon. So Leuzinger answers the basket.
A traveling call that time. You've got on this team 2 football players. As a matter of fact, one of them for Beverly Hills, Brent Nash, who scored the other bucket. He's headed to Iowa State to play football. And Chasen Walken, who I believe, is he on the court now? I'm not sure. Chasen Walken, number 31. No, he's not out there yet. He's also a football player. He's a defensive back on the Beverly Hills Normans football team. So they've got players that go a couple of ways. I saw somebody on their JV shoot a two-hand set shot.
Ortega turns it over. Something positive there for the Normans, although they still trail by 12. And we're going to have a jump ball called. The possession arrow favors the Normans.
Well, I'm interested to find out what the story is with the 35-second clock. You heard some information because there's exactly 30 seconds to go in the quarter. And Rufus, you might get a chance to elaborate on that a little bit. That's an interesting story.
Another basket here. So the Normans warm up in the late going. In the past minute, they put 4 points on the board. Makes her total 6 for the quarter with 15 seconds left.
Yeah, I guess during the quarter break we can get into that.
16-6. As we wind it down, and thank you, Dave, for setting me up. And we'll talk about that 35-second clock situation in a moment. Be losing her ball. Good defense there by Max Shapiro. In fact, there are a couple of angles. One of the things here, gosh, Randy Oliver on the court for all of about 10 seconds here. Now we're going to have a foul call. Looks like this may be a 3. Well, they're going to call it. Let's see what they're going to call. Okay, they're going to say he wasn't in the act of shooting, so it'll be losing her ball out of bounds with 1 second left in the first quarter. Well, you got to play him tight. Puts it up. It's good if it goes. And hits the rim and bounces away. So after 1, Leuzinger leads by a score of 16-6 over the Normans of Beverly Hills, Dave. Now, how would you assess this first quarter?
Well, I would assess it as simply a quarter where, similar to a boxing match, where not so much players feeling each other out, but players kind of getting their legs, especially early on when Leuzinger did not have that much to deal with in terms of height. Things seemed like they were sort of evenly matched. As a matter of fact, Beverly Hills came out very spry first 2 or 3 minutes or so, but then after that, they just got nothing offensively, were able to run nothing, and as a result, Leuzinger ups the score, being up by 10, 12 points, and right now it doesn't look like it is going to be much of a contest. Another bright spot for Beverly Hills late in the latter stages of that quarter was one of the zones that they went into where they forced Leuzinger to shoot from outside. Shooting from outside is not necessarily Leuzinger's forte, so if Beverly Hills is going to get back into it in the second quarter, if they can continue to play that zone and make Leuzinger take outside shots, if Leuzinger's not able to hit them. Remember, Leuzinger does not have a Don Baines, so if they're able to do that, then they may somehow be able to creep back into the ball game.
And still no Chaz Foster after 1 quarter. We mentioned, as you told us at the top of the show, it was a discipline issue as to why Chaz didn't start. Coach's decision apparently keeping him on the bench here as we start the second quarter.
Well, the high scores for Brandon Connors got 5 for Leuzinger.
Swings it over to Dixon. Dixon shot from the perimeter, no good. Looks like that's number 5, Reed, came down with it. Ovia Soji, number 22, also in the game. Dixon thinks about it, gives it over to Conner. He tried to slip it in. Joe Shepard gets it. Joe Shepard goes up, and he's fouled on the shot. So that should send Joe Shepard to the line to shoot 2. Now, about the 35-second clock, Dave, as you were saying, first of all, there is no 35-second clock in the building is one of the problems they got. As you look around at the scoreboard, there's no ability for them to keep it. And the referee has said, although it looks like they're keeping it manually courtside, but the referee, Bob Lowden, told me that they discussed it with the coaches. Both coaches understood it. Neither one of them expected it to be a problem because they both expected to shoot well within the 35-second allotment. And so far, it hasn't proven to be a problem.
Well, it was definitely a factor in the JV game, and I'm sure the Leuzinger JV lost by 2 points. One of the reasons why they lost was the fact that the Beverly Hills Normans JV held the ball for over a minute, and they took it with about 1:50 to go and took it down to about 40 some odd seconds, and Leuzinger played excellent defense, but the fact that they were able to get as much time as they need was a contributing factor because they eventually got fouled and hit the free throws. So you got to believe if this game stays close, they're going to throw all that what they promised before the ball game. They'll throw it out as quickly as a campaign promise to not mudsling. Let's put it like that.
Well, it's going to have to get close first. They got a lot of contact in there. Looks like there's going to be a foul against the Olympians. And while our head was turned, Chaz Foster is in the game now. Foster, of course, wearing jersey number 23, senior for the Olympians.
And of course, because he played football and a very important role on the varsity football team, he got to the basketball team late, so it took him a little bit of time to get in sync.
Foster handles most of the post duties for the Olympians. Shot's going to be put up, no good, by number 5, Tyrone Reed. Normans come away with it, 6.5 left here in the first half. They trailed by 12 again. That's been their largest deficit at 18-6. This time they're going to get Reed with the body foul, saying he pushed off. It'll be Norman's ball here on the sideline. Coach Showalter tonight running substitutes in and out of the lineup, and considering he's shorthanded, and I guess that's the strategy here, doesn't want to create an Iron Man situation or test this guy, so he's shuttling them in and out pretty good.
Well, Beverly Hills doing a pretty good job with the shuttle system as well.
Rarely have I seen a team so cold on their own court, quite frankly.
There's not even much of a home crowd in here.
That basket put up and in by Chaz Foster as he makes his presence felt here in the second quarter. His first time on the court here. Did not play first quarter, coach's decision. Yet another turnover for the Normans. Connor pushing the ball up. Connor shot from outside, and it's a three-pointer, giving the triple. Makes it 23-6. It looks like we're going to have a timeout taken on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 as the Normans stare down their largest deficit of 17 points with 5:35 left in the first half.
Brandon Connor's second three-pointer. He's got 8 to lead the team. And not much of a crowd at the 5:35 mark for Beverly Hills in this old gym. Maybe they've got other things to do on a Friday night. This is a Friday night as we do this ball game, but they've not been having a good year. And it would lead you to believe that perhaps basketball, at least on the varsity level, is not a sport that they key on here. Maybe it's not where the priority is. When you consider the fact that head coach Jason Newman also coaches the golf team, and he had, with the weather getting somewhat better these days, he had been out on the golf course. He also had responsibility of coaching volleyball, so perhaps at this particular school, this particular high school program, there are other sports that take precedence over basketball, perhaps.
Well, that or maybe the school isn't in the 90210 area, zip code rather, and all the real Beverly Hillians are elsewhere. But you're right, it is a rather sparse crowd. But then again, when your record is 4-12 and 0-8 in league competition, that doesn't exactly bring the fans out. Give it up. Foster goes and lays it in. Nice body control there by Chaz Foster as he avoids the charge. Gonna get a foul called against the Olympians. Looks like they call it on Ortega. We'll see as they flash it on the board if they give us an indication.
Well, one ray of hope for Beverly Hills Norman followers, if you happen to be in South Central and you're a follower of the Beverly Hills Normans, is that their JV looks like a pretty decent team. They did win by 2 points, of course, aided by the fact that they did not have to use a shot clock, but the JV team did look pretty good. They had Leuzinger up by double digits before Leuzinger cut in and almost pulled it. Actually, the JV for Leuzinger had a chance to tie at the buzzer, but they missed a 15-footer from the right as time ran out.
Shot blocked. Joe Shepard with the fast break. Out front, puts it up, doesn't get it to go, but excellent follow by Brandon Connor. Makes our score now 27-6.
And he's hit double digits. He's got 10.
As you watch this Beverly Hills team, and I tell you, wins have obviously been hard for them to come by. Makes you wonder about the 4 that they do have.
We had a rather excited fan right in front of our broadcast position.
That shot from the outside, no good by the Normans. Rebound by Connor. Connor pushes it up, goes the distance. Shot no good. Rebound's going to be taken down. Was taken down, but it's going to be turned over by the Normans. Couldn't gain control of it.
At the 4:26 mark of the second quarter, question now becomes, does Beverly Hills get 10 before the quarter ends? Leuzinger might have visions of the century mark in her head, but that would take a little bit of doing.
Would take a little bit, you're exactly right. Scored a basket for the Normans. That was Chasen Walker, junior guard, with the basket. Leuzinger right now at 27 to 8. 21 points, their largest lead of the game, obviously, when it was 27 to 6. Joe Shepard shot from the outside, three-pointer. Makes it a 30 to 8 contest now.
He's got 2 3-pointers on the night, giving him 8 points.
And I'm being real generous with the term contest. This is starting to take on dimensions of going from the sublime to the ridiculous as you watch this totally outclassed Beverly Hills team.
Well, again, you just have to wonder, I mean, playing athletics at the high school level, of course, the most important thing is always academics. Playing at the high school level, of course, it's fun. You get a lot of competition and get good exercise. But when you consider the fact that you look at this roster and they've got 3 players that are stars on the football team, 1 headed to Iowa State, 2 other stars on the volleyball team, you just have to wonder, is basketball the sport of choice for some of these people that play here at this school?
Actually, we're having more entertainment between the 2 cheering squads, the Leuzinger cheerleaders and drill team and the Beverly Hills cheerleaders and drill team. Quite frankly, are putting on a better show and being a little more competitive than are the guys on the basketball court.
Not only that, Rufus is sitting right in front of us.
Well, I'm not complaining about that.
One thing about this gym, although it's old, the sight lines are good. The court, of course, you mentioned is bad because there's no room, really. I mean, if you're running real hard, even with the padding on the wall, you're going to get hurt. But as far as from a spectator's point of view, not bad for high school. I mean, we're at a very good vantage point. Certainly a lot more comfortable. We got back support on the benches tonight, which
exactly.
we usually do not get at our home schools.
And a traveling call made against the Normans. Our score with 3:16 left in the first half. Leuzinger in command. Foster puts it up and then he's going to go to the line for the 3-point play. Makes it 34-8. And all of a sudden, that century mark looks doable. Still a ways to go. I would say, Dave, at best, to hit the century mark, you got to be in the 40s by halftime. Right now, Leuzinger at 34, looking to make it 35.
Well, they also aren't going to get it by the jump shot. They're going to have to get it by a good transition game, getting the layups. Although in a game like this, a good opportunity to practice your jump shots against the zone. The game becomes, in effect, a somewhat elaborate scrimmage.
And the referee Lowden makes the call against number 22, Oscar Oviesoji. Free throw, no good. Leuzinger comes down with it. They push it up court, get it in the hands of Oviesoji. On the floor with him is Ortega and Chaz Foster. Brandon Dixon, and number 31 is Maurice Givens. That's your Leuzinger lineup. They attempt to go inside that time. Normans come away with the steal. Norman's working it around the perimeter now. There's a perimeter shot put up and in. That was number 35 for the Normans with the made basket.
It's Hagos with his second field goal, and they do hit the 10 mark at the 2-minute, 10-second mark of the second quarter.
Gonna have a foul called on the inside against the Olympians. One of the few mistakes they made. They're gonna call that foul against Givens. Givens trying to follow up the shot by Foster.
Maurice Givens, the junior, is at 5-3 in the league right now, considering playoffs, which are about 2 weeks away. Leuzinger right in the thick of things. West Torrance in first place, 7-1. They're pretty much a shoe-in, but Leuzinger one of about 3 or 4 schools that are bunched up at 5-3. So their remaining games the next 2 weeks are going to be very important, and they would want to make sure that this one is definitely in the win column tonight as they try to get back on track.
And we've got a contest we'll be doing Monday night. I believe it's Hawthorne. We'll check with the truck for you, though, and get you the
Actually, it's going to be Culver City at Leuzinger.
Culver City at Leuzinger. Okay, then. So we'll be
our first trip to the Big O this year, or the Little O, actually.
We'll be at the home of the Olympians. It's going to be Olympian ball out of bounds.
For you Hawthorne fans, if you're wondering, well, they're at Miracosta tonight as we speak. Last week, as you know, if you were watching here, Ken Fine filling in for Rufus on the color commentary. A very close competitive ball game with Hawthorne and West Torrance that Hawthorne had a chance to win, but they were tied with about 1:40 to go. Not able to pull it out. Missed a couple of opportunities down the stretch, but a good game for the Cougars last week.
A shot good. Now, Foster shot blocked. Leuzinger having a bit of a trouble handling now, and Beverly Hills comes away with the steal at 35-10, and a minute left. Norman's showing some fight left in him. Randy Oliver, number 24, on the floor, playing good defense. Oliver gets out and runs. Sure love to see Randy get a shot up here if he gets an opportunity. And he comes down with the rebound. He's going to have a foul call, and that should be the 1-and-1. That'll send send Randy to the line.
You got Haban Hagos, and of course he's a wide receiver on the football team for Beverly Hills. 52-second mark of this second quarter. Need to get these cheerleaders on a halftime show, I tell you.
Had an opportunity to talk to Randy's mom before the game. Of course, she's been a big supporter of Leuzinger sports over the last several years. Having had 2 sons come through the program. Joe Hooker, oldest son, just finished the tour of duty with the United States military. Always honorable thing to do to give service to your country. Randy, a 4-year player here at Leuzinger. This year not having been the kind of season I'm sure that Randy would have liked, but he's a fine young man of impeccable character, and the future holds nothing but good things for him. Ortega goes to the basket. His shot no good. Foster comes away with it. Flips it out to Oviesogi. And now with 30 seconds left. They hold the ball, and Leuzinger looks like they're going to hold for the last shot. Leading by a score of 36-10.
10 seconds now and counting.
Should be Leuzinger basketball. Again, Leuzinger attempting to work it into the post. Oliver takes it out there. He has shot, Randy. Good shot, no good. And that ends the first half. So after one half, the Leuzinger Olympians go into the locker room with the commanding 26-point lead, Dave, at 36-10 on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Not exactly the kind of half, if you're the home team Normans, that you'd want to see.
Well, when you score 6 in the first quarter and 4 in the second quarter, no, I would say about the best thing to do for Beverly Hills fans is enjoy the cheerleaders and basically get some refreshments, because that is may not have too much to look forward to in the second half. But with the score being 36-10, the Leuzinger Olympians appear to be one half away from getting back into the win column.
Great. Fans want you to enjoy the halftime activities. Let me get my son in here in this picture shot. He's here with me tonight. This is little Mr. Washington. Camera's over there. His name's Branton, and he's a basketball player too, and I'm glad he's here to join us.
Brandon, do you know who Willie Mays is? Brandon, do you know who Willie Mays is? Oh, he can't. Oh, I was going to come tell. Willie Mays was better than Michael Jordan, Brandon. Oh, well, that's for another story.
No, thanks,
well, we're at the half, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to come back with the start of the second half. 36-10, Leuzinger over Beverly Hills, and we'll come back with the start of the second half here on Lawndale's Channel 22.
All right, fans, we're back here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 for the start of the second half. Leuzinger with a commanding 26-point lead going into the locker room at 36-10. The Normans have a huge hill to climb, Dave, and they've got 16 minutes to try to climb that hill of 26 points if they want to come out of here with a win tonight. Of course, Leuzinger, I'm certain, has no intent of letting them do that, but we'll see how it unfolds.
And Leuzinger's high scorer at the half, 12 points. Leading scorer, Brandon Connor.
And there you see Leuzinger scoring the opening basket on the steal and breakaway there for the Olympians.
Cedric Poe with his first bucket. He gets into the books. Cedric Poe, the senior.
Cedric Allen Poe, did you say?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? Something like that.
Nice shot put up, doesn't go for the Normans. Joe Shepard cuts in, gives it off to Brandon Connor. His shot up, no good. Brandon follows up, scores the basket. Makes it a 40-10 game now. We've just started the third quarter, fans. We got 7 minutes left here in the third, and Leuzinger with a 30-point lead. That shot put up from the outside by Hagos, and it doesn't go.
Nobody in any serious foul trouble for Leuzinger at this point. A couple of players with 2 fouls, and no one for just about everyone from Beverly Hills has 2 fouls, but no one in any major trouble as Leuzinger takes this quick 20-second timeout at the 6:50 mark of the third quarter.
30-point lead for the Olympians, as we say. It's their kind of night. Pretty soon it turns into the kind of night where as a coach, you do one of 2 things. You either work on some things that you want to, or you give it some PT to some guys who come to practice every day, who work out for you, who don't get the opportunity to step on the court as often as you might like.
And of course, the very last thing you want is an injury. Of course, 2 players for Leuzinger were not able to make the trip due to strep throat. Jonathan Smith, the highly touted freshman who's played good ball, he's a backup point guard. He's not here. And Hannibal Aladem not here tonight either.
Connor inbounds to Joe Shepard. Joe Shepard nearly has a strip. Joe Shepard maintains the handle. Gets it over to Cedric Poe. Poe wears jersey number 33. I think he got a handle on just about everybody else. 23, of course, Chaz Foster. 32, Joe Shepard. Number 4, Brandon Connor. Number 3 is Oscar Ortega. Nice pass to the inside there by Foster as he hits Cedric Allen Poe for the basket. Gets Poe in the scorebook there. That shot put up and in by Billy Smith. So we now have a 42-13 contest here.
And it was Poe in the last bucket, you're sure, right?
I'm sure.
Okay.
It was Poe. Another steal there by the Normans. Going to get a charge call here. You can call that one with Braille to steal a line from my guru, my favorite announcer, Chick Hearn, when it comes to basketball anyway. And we've got an injured Olympian down on the floor.
Well, in a 30-point ball game, 39-point ball game at this point, this you mentioned a second ago, the last thing you want to see is something like this. You have a football player, a wide receiver, go into Oscar Ortega because it was Haben Hagos at 6'1" who plays on the football team who did the charge. And of course, someone the size and the weight of Ortega, you don't want to have to take on one of those big, bulky football players. And well, that would have been offensive pass interference anyway on the gridiron. And of course, here it's an offensive foul.
Ortega goes off under his own steam. Let's see. Is the Leuzinger 5? Yeah, Leuzinger has 5 guys on the floor. Just wanted to get a see on the floor from Oscar Oviesoji on now for Ortega. Foster in the lane, puts it up, gets the teardrop to go. Makes it a 44-13 contest now.
Well, Chaz Foster, of course, didn't start the first quarter due to discipline, and you know he's got to feel a little disappointed because he had a 28-point game last time these two teams played.
Here's Shepard down low. Shepard with the jumper. 46-13, fans. All we can do at this point is describe it. You start to run out of superlatives after a while when it becomes this type of scoring mismatch. But if you're Beverly Hills, you still stay with the things you passed. Nice give and go there. Actually, it wasn't a give and go. It was a Preston play that they ran, and they ran it to perfection. Here's a lob pass, put up and in, and you're going to have a technical foul called against the Olympians for hanging on the rim. That was Brandon Connor. They ran that to perfection. Don't know if we have a replay on it or not. Connor added a little showmanship to it at the end. Referees immediately disdained it and teed him up for it. And here you're going to see it again. Here's the high lob pass. Connor gets under, goes up for the slam, and there you see the technical with the swirl.
And it was Cedric Poe. Give Cedric Poe the credit for the pass. Good little, call it the old alley-oop. Worked to perfection, Poe and Connor.
Shooting the free throws, Billy Smith. Smith, no luck there on the second one. It's going to be Beverly Hills balls out of bounds here on the sideline. There you see Coach Showalter there, as we told you in our previous broadcast, first year at the helm of the Olympians.
The ball game now for Beverly Hills. Arash Hakamian. He's dribbling the basketball right now.
Goes to the basket, doesn't get it to go. Olympians come away with it. They're looking to fast break, and it's going to be ball out of bounds to the Olympians. Dixon's pass broken up by Hagos, Habin Hagos. Foster on the baseline, he goes up. It's going to be fouled on the play. Referee has his choice. Let's see who he gives it to. Has some words there for number 24 and for Foster. 24 for the Normans.
He's Rogers. He's another he's a tailback on the football team.
It's Roger Smith. And of course with Foster, and you never know, you know, in this type of situation. I don't know. I don't think they play. Did they play each other in football this year?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Played down at Olympian Field, and the Olympians, the football Olympians, won that ball game big. So So maybe, I doubt there's a little carryover, but
although I've seen it in the past, you know, I can't call specifics now, but I know where you have teams, obviously, that are competitive in football and basketball, and where you have guys playing both sports, you tend to get some carryover between athletes because they remember each other. All right.
and when these two teams played, of course, Chaz Foster was not quarterbacking at the time for Leuzinger, but they played back in October.
Smith out on the perimeter gives it from one Smith to another.
And Billy Smith, number 11, who is not on the court at the moment. Or yes, he is. Billy Smith, he's their leading scorer with 7. He's a volleyball player.
Norman's able to inbound the ball as they bring it out top. Here's Billy Smith's shot. His shot up, it's no good. They come away with the rebound, however. That's Hakamian who came down with the rebound. Hakamian, number 23, out on the perimeter calling for it. Normans get a basket, make it a 49-17 contest. 3:50 left here in the third quarter.
And Chasen Walker, who scored that one, a defensive back on the football team for Beverly Hills.
Leuzinger cheerleaders giving the Beverly Hills crowd the business. Foster with the rebound, passes it over to Dixon. Dixon's shot up and in. Makes it a 51-17 contest now. Norman's not having a lot of luck hitting anything, David. They're blowing layups, free throws, technicals. You name the shot, they've missed it. There's Dixon's shot from outside. It's no good. They come down with the rebound. That was Smith with the rebound. Gives it out to Hogmazian. He gets away with a travel call there. That shot up and no good. As I said, I've never seen a team in all my years of doing this have such misfortune on their own court.
Well, I did once. And in another sport, though, high school, my golf team didn't do too good against Stuyvesant High School back in New York. That was somewhat of a mismatch. And it may seem like a little bit of a flight of fancy, but it's a relevant comment because of the fact that the high school I went to in New York was not known for golf, but Stuyvesant High School was. And again, I'll repeat it for the umpteenth time. You have to look at a school here like Beverly Hills, consider all kinds of things, and you just have to wonder is basketball a sport that is a priority to them. Take a look at the NCAA. Tennessee, for instance, for many years, Tennessee, the Volunteers were just traditionally a football powerhouse. Then they came on in basketball. Georgetown University back east. We all know about their basketball program, but what about their football? Some schools, I guess it's just depending on the type of athletes they want to recruit or where they're coming from in the neighborhoods or whatever. I mean, let's face it, this isn't Crenshaw.
Exactly.
This is Beverly Hills, such as it is. And apparently, some of the better athletes don't go out for basketball here.
Yeah, I'd be almost willing to bet you that their golf team could probably, any 2 guys on their golf team could beat any 6 guys on one of the other schools in the Ocean League golf team. That's for sure. And of course, this school also has an excellent aquatics program, as we know. So it's like you said, your point's well taken that basketball may not be a heavily emphasized sport here.
But of course, we all know the number one thing you want to emphasize is the academics. And both of these schools do a good job with that. That is number one. Athletics are just something to help you. Of course, they can help get you into college. You want to win a scholarship. I mean, we know such an infinitesimal amount of these athletes are going to wind up in the NBA or Major League Baseball or the NFL. But nevertheless, it's the chance to compete, the chance to play, the chance to win a scholarship, have some fun. And As you mentioned, the young man going on into the Army. I mean, these are lessons that you learn that carry you on through life.
Exactly. So it's Beverly Hills basketball here with a minute and a half left. Scored a basket for them. Getting a little aggressive on the defense now. They trail by a score of 51-19. That's Oviesoji with the handle. They get it down to Brandon Connor. Connor fall away jumper is good. Brandon Connor with the hot hand tonight for the Olympians, Dave.
Yes, he's got 18 right now. At 12 at the break.
Normans get the offensive rebound. They put up a shot from the outside. Again, no good on their court. And they come down with yet another rebound here. Alternating possession will go to the Olympians.
That's a defensive back takedown for you there, Chaz and Walker.
Along with Oviesoji. Leuzinger tries to go to the length of the court with the pass. Stolen there by Hakamian. They get it inside. Nice couple of fakes back outside. Hakamian takes the dribble, goes inside, gets it up, doesn't come away with it. And now you're going to have Randy Foster fouled on the play by Hakamian.
Hakamian committing his third at the 32nd mark of this third quarter. And the shot clock, which is being kept on the stopwatch at side court, is now turned off. Now, you know if they don't have a shot clock in here, you know they de-emphasize basketball.
Right. And with 25 seconds left, as you note, Coach Showalter calls for one shot. A lot of handles there, and that ends the third quarter. Connor held on to it an awful long time, comes up empty-handed. But after 3 quarters, here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, as you watch a shot of the Spirit of Leuzinger, they lead by a score of 53-19.
Well, the first quarter, Leuzinger led 16-6. They outscored Beverly Hills 20-4 in the second quarter to lead 36-10. In this quarter, again, Beverly Hills fails to get into double digits. They score only 9. They're outscored 17-9 as the Olympians have the 53-19 lead. Other games taking place tonight in the Ocean League. We mentioned the Hawthorne Cougars at Mira Costa. And some other important ball games, West Torrance at Culver City, El Segundo at Torrance. And these Leuzinger Olympians will see Culver City Monday night, and we will see them here on Channel 22. Game to be played down at Leuzinger off of Rosecrans. So you can be in attendance, and then you can watch the ball game once you get home on Channel 22.
Maurice Givens, number 31, inbounds to Oviesoji. Leuzinger right now has on the court Givens, Oviesoji, Joe Shepard, Randy Oliver, and Oscar Ortega. Foul called against the Olympians. Looked like they called that one against Oliver. Be Norman's ball to inbound. Scored a basket for the Normans. Leuzinger still with a commanding lead, 53-21. I dare say you can mark this one.
Well, would you believe it, Rufus? We're going to see this Beverly Hills team once again on Wednesday night. You know why? Because Beverly Hills will be at Hawthorne.
I was going to say, tell me it's not here, please.
Oh, it'll be
this
at Hawthorne.
This is a tough drive. Yeah, and it's tough not because of the distance, fans. It's just where it's situated, but you got to get out the freeway. You got to take surface streets and yada, yada, yada to get here.
You could move to Philadelphia.
Whoa! See, that's exactly what I was speaking of when I talk about there's There's very little space, and now we have a lot of lip going on between some of the Beverly Hills players. A little frustration coming out in them.
Yes, that's Shepard and Roger Smith, and of course Roger Smith, the tailback on the football team. We mentioned, you can tell by looking at his shoulders, and we did see. I do remember seeing him in action against Leuzinger this year down in October on the football field, and they've bumped heads and shoulders a couple of times tonight. So if you can't beat them going to the rack, well, you can chip away on them a little bit, just kind of pound on them on the inside, and that's what they've attempted to do.
That
on
shot
some
put
occasions.
up and in by Joe Shepard. Got a couple of substitutes coming on. And one of the things they decided to do is to take Smith off the floor. And that's a good coaching decision. You know, when you see a player who's lost his emotional handle on the game, you take him out, let him cool off before you put him back in.
Hagels
Good
will come back
coaching
in.
makes sense. And you got to tip your hat to the Beverly Hills coaching staff for doing something like that, because those things have a way of escalating. And now you see Coach Showalter reciprocating by taking Joe Shepard off the court. I'm sure we'll see both players again before this contest is over. We've got 6.5 minutes left. Whoa, nice behind the back pass by Randy Oliver. Randy Oliver, I should say, hit Cedric Allen Poe for the bucket. Give Randy the assist. Randy Oliver making excellent use of his PT here tonight. Another fast break basket coming up for the Olympians. Gonna have a foul. It wasn't as hard as it looks.
Well, Billy Smith, of course, wanting to deny the easy one, and not flagrant. And you're right, not as hard as it appeared to be. And we mentioned there are two Billy Smiths on this team. That one you saw committing that foul here, number 11, as he's going to foul him on the foul. Well, this is Poe getting the layup off the pass, but Smith spells his name S-M-Y-T-H. He plays volleyball. And then, of course, Roger Smith, the fullback on the football team, S-M-I-T-H. So with 6:10 to go in this fourth quarter, timeout taken by Leuzinger. They'll make the adjustment up 57-21 as Roger Smith is going to come back into the ball game for Beverly Hills. Roger Smith involved with Joe Shepard a second ago. Little hard contact, and they're going to get him back into the ball game. And also Ryan Iwamoto will come in the ball game for Beverly Hills. So got a couple of new players out there. Iwamoto on the court. Arash Hakamian also on the court. And of course, Maurice Givens on the line.
Givens misses the first, gives us a chance to set the Leuzinger table for you. Got Tyrone Reed on the floor, Randy Oliver, Cedric Poe, Maurice Givens, along with Oscar Oviesoji. Not a lineup that you'd normally see on the floor for the Olympians in the heat of competition, but a lineup that you're glad to see on the floor. The thing about when you play team sports and when you're on a team, every player wants the opportunity to play, Dave. And obviously, you don't always get that. I mean, you want your 5 best players on the floor to give you the 5 players who can give you the best chance to win. But sometimes when you got a game like this, where with 5.5 minutes left or approaching 5.5 minutes, and you've got a 37-point lead, you can afford to give some guys an opportunity to play who don't normally see meaningful time on the court. And that's a good thing.
Oh, yes, they need those minutes. Because you never know, you could be in a playoff game and a key player goes down and somebody's got to step in. Time Billy Smith hooking up on the sideline again, that time with Tyrone Reed. Billy Smith in the middle of a lot of things right here.
And Smith, part showman, and he approaches basketball though with a football player's mentality, which you can tell that some of the players don't exactly appreciate. I mean, you and I are old enough to recall the days when basketball was considered a non-contact sport.
That is before ML Carr got into the league.
Before ML Carr and the whole, I don't know who brought it first. I guess it was actually the Celtics. If we go back, the '85 Celtics and the '84 Celtics, those teams that had McHale. I remember how they'd rough up the Lakers, and of course the Pistons, the bad boys, took it to a new and higher level.
I had someone today tell me that they missed the 80s when teams were scoring in the 130s and 140s, and actually it was a lady who was a NBA fan, and she said she doesn't watch basketball anymore. She wondered what happened. Well, I didn't want to say anything, but the Detroit Pistons happened.
Right.
That's basically what happened. And then, of course, it went to New York with the New York Knicks and Pat Riley. And I know I've got mixed emotions about that. I like to see defense in the NBA. I mean, you don't like to see thug basketball, but you do want to see teams earn it.
Hagos makes 1 out of 2, makes it a 58-22 ball game. Fans, let me assure you, there are under 5 minutes left in the contest. Of course, I'm sure if you're a Leuzinger fan, in fact, you're enjoying seeing your team post a nice W like this. It's going to raise their record to 13-7, 6-3 overall. A couple more wins should be good enough to get them a spot in the playoffs. Having a problem getting a handle on it. Hakamian finally does. Hakamian, pretty decent little guard there for them. Smith comes up with the rebound. Hakamian out on the baseline. Hakamian goes baseline, passes it off to a teammate. Now he's on the basket, gives it off to Hagos. Hagos tries to use glass, doesn't go for him. Beverly Hills comes up with the rebound again. Randy Oliver gets it out to number 31. They blow the layup. That was Givens who blew the layup. Leuzinger starting to lose their edge just a little bit. Not sure if Givens is injured or whatever, but I'm going to assume that he's injured. Givens, number 31. That's Maurice Givens. We don't have a shot of him right now. But, well, he's coming off the court, that's for sure.
Joe Shepard is back in for him. So they have to watch Shepard and
Steal there by Randy Oliver, and he's going to be held on the play. Going to call the foul on Hakamian. That's the 16th foul.
.335 mark. This one almost mercifully over for Beverly Hills. And for Leuzinger, Tyrone Reed is dribbling the ball now. One of only 2 Olympians to not score so far.
And on the turnover, it's going to be Norman's basketball.
Well, we have a chance for you soccer fans out there. You like girls soccer? Well, the Hawthorne Lady Cougars will be in action against Santa Monica. And you can see that game next week on Channel 22. The Santa Monica team taking on the Hawthorne Lady Cougars. That's girls soccer right here on Channel 22, Lawndale Community Cable.
And believe it or not, Dave, we almost got through the entire contest without talking about the Super Bowl one time. Gives me a chance to mention, I think, and I say this in honor of the director emeritus, if you will, Mike Galarza, the former executive producer of Lawndale Sports, as well as the entire Lawndale Cable programming function. And Mike was a longtime Rams fan. He and I, in fact, over the years took in a game or 2. Never quite understood or knew how Mike felt about the Rams leaving town. Some of the local Ram fans are conflicted. Some hate the Rams now, and some still pull for the Rams. But as you know, Sunday's Super Bowl features, they're calling it the Relocation Bowl, the Tennessee Titans and the St. Louis Rams. So if there are any Ram fans out there in the Channel 22 viewing audience, hey, here's to your team on Sunday. And if there are any Titan fans, here's to your team as well.
Well, Rufus, I usually consider Super Bowl Sunday the day to start thinking about baseball season. That's me personally, but if I'm forced to think about the Super Bowl, I'm thinking right now about the fact that a couple of years ago, people were questioning whether Steve McNair could play in the NFL. I just leave you with that thought.
Well, now we know that he can, and he has a chance to win the Super Bowl on Sunday. Our score now, 58-24 with 2:26 left.
Now, Rufus, you don't by any chance happen to think I'm a baseball fan, do you?
Just a little bit. Leuzinger blows the layup inside. Oliver comes down with it, gives it to Brandon Dixon from three-point range. That shot no good. It's going to be Leuzinger basketball as it goes off of Roger Smith.
And, you know, another little programming note at Channel 22 for you softball and baseball fans this spring. We're going to be doing a couple of Leuzinger baseball games. And we're also going to have some Hawthorne softball. That's being worked on right now. So a host of sporting events for you on Channel 22.
Ortega shot from distance, no good. Beverly Hills looking to run. They get a fast break, and they convert the fast break. Makes our score now 58-26. Score looking just a tad bit more respectable. Not a whole lot more, but a little bit more.
Now, they've got 7 points this quarter. The question is, do they get double digits? They have yet to do it. 6 in the first quarter, 4 in the second quarter, 9 in the third, and 7 right now with 1:55 to go. So they're playing for double digits in the quarter. And Leuzinger's been on that 58 mark for quite a bit.
Well, I think probably one of the things, if you're a coach, that you saw was that your team lost its edge just a little bit, and you don't like to see that happen. You like to see, and you're going to have a tech called against the Olympians. That was Tyrone Reed hanging on the rim unnecessarily. And now you got a couple of, you're going to have at least one substitute coming on the floor. Brandon Connor wanting another piece of action. Then have Givens come on the floor, and I'll bet you a buck Reed comes off. First free throw is made by Walker. Misses the back end.
Another bucket, another field goal for them, and they've got 10 points in the quarter. What do you know? They got it. I believe if they count the bucket, and they will.
So, that makes it a 58-29 game. A lot of the Beverly Hills fans who aren't here are going to look at the newspaper in the morning, and they realize that their team is a team that's rebuilding. They're going to go, geez, that wasn't too bad. We only lost by 28.
Rebuilding, eh?
Not realizing that at times that they were down by nearly 40 points.
At the 125 mark, well, I don't know if rebuilding is exactly the word for it. I think it's just putting a team on the court, putting anyone who can dribble a basketball and suit up.
Well, I brought my son to the game tonight in the hope, again, he's the starting power forward on our team in NJB, and thought he'd pick up a few pointers here. I'm not sure what, if anything, he's learned. Randy Oliver at the line shooting two. Randy makes 2 free throws. Well, I got a second to get you in here. Let me ask you something. Do you think you've learned anything tonight from watching these big guys?
Yes, I have learned something.
And what is that?
I don't know.
Well, as you can see, young Mr. Washington has a way to go to develop his broadcast career, but right now he's working on his basketball career. Our score stands 62-32 with just over a minute left. Randy comes down with the rebound. Oliver gets tied up.
And tell him the quickest way to the major leagues is as a pitcher or catcher. He looks like he got the body for a catcher.
Well, as a left-hander, he's got a shot at being a pitcher as well.
He's going to have to pitch then. And the major, they need left-handed pitchers.
50 seconds and counting, fans. Won't be long now. Randy Oliver comes down with another rebound. Randy fouled on the inside. Referee decides to make the call this time. So, Randy getting a good opportunity to practice his free throws. He goes back to the line to shoot 2. Converted 2 on his last trip.
saw their close working quarters for camera crew here tonight.
That one's short on the 1-and-1. Shepard needs to get it out. 5-second, 3-second call, Joe. You can see that. At this level, they play 3 seconds. You guys get an extra pair. That shot from the outside, no good. 35 seconds left in the contest, fans. Leuzinger with a 30-point lead at 62-32. We've tried our best to make it entertaining, but as they say, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. And this has been a whole passel of turnips. And Leuzinger gets yet another basket on 2 offensive rebounds. That basket put up and in by Joe Shepard.
Yeah, and he's going to finish with 14, and Brandon Connor high score with 18.
Oliver comes down with the rebound, and that's the ball game. And the contest is going to end with Leuzinger doubling up on the Normans of Beverly Hills by a score of 64-32, and it wasn't nearly that close, fans. Leuzinger came out short team tonight because of a couple of players who are on the sick list, but nonetheless, they put 64 points up, and they win by 32 here at the home of the Normans. Excellent road win for the Olympians, Dave.
Well, it's hard to believe that Leuzinger was actually outscored 13-11 in the fourth quarter. We mentioned it was a long stretch where they were on 58. They didn't score anything, but a runaway win, a good win considering the fact that they were somewhat shorthanded. A couple of players out due to injuries, a couple of players not starting due to all kinds of discipline problems. But it's a game that they were pretty much expected to win, and they got it into the win column, and that means now that they can get ready for Culver City on Monday, because they are still somewhat in quite of a big race for second place. West Torrance, of course, in first, pending what they do tonight. So big win here tonight for Leuzinger as they get themselves back on track and got a couple of days to rest up, as we mentioned, for
and that's the key
Culver
thing.
City.
They get a little while to enjoy it, and they're back at it on Monday. And, of course, right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. We'll be back with you for that contest Monday from Leuzinger High School. For the entire crew at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, headed by the executive producer Tom Strickfadden, Joe Shaw, Jose Bravo, and the rest of the cast and crew. For Dave Marks and Rufus Washington saying thank you for joining us, and we're going to look forward to seeing you Monday afternoon at Leuzinger High School as they take on Culver City right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Good night, fans.
Good night.